welcome to Happy Hands Knitting Podcast. My name is Nadine and I'm coming to you from northern New South Wales in Australia, in the Byron Bay area. And I'm originally from Montreal, Canada, specifically the West Island. Okay, today's episode, this is going to be part 3 of the Stephen West Mystery MusiKAL Mystery Knit Along that I'm participating in this year, and this is the second time that I've done a Mystery Knit Along, the second time I've ever done a Stephen West pattern. The first one was the shawlography from a couple of years ago. Okay, we are at clue 3, so today's episode is going to be a little bit about clue 2, which I finished since last week's episode, and delving into clue 3, and oh boy, the controversy. Okay, I'm wearing a linen top that I thrifted from an op shop up in Brisbane, and I'm wearing some peppermint lounge pants that I sewed a couple of years ago. Out of a duvet cover, a linen duvet cover from H&M. Okay, let's go. Clue 2. I finished clue 2 maybe a day before the next clue came out. Maybe I finished it on Wednesday. I was really taking my time. I wasn't really in a rush because, as we know, this clue was a lot more flowy. Last week I talked about how I was getting crazy frustrated, however, because my stitch count was always off and I just could not understand what was happening. And if you watched last week's, you'll know one of the main reasons was I was looking at page 5 instead of page 4 or something. So I was doing the lace section wrong because the first lace section has an extra yarn over. Anyways, beyond that, once I figured out that mistake, I still was having troubles, but I just kept going. I ripped it out a few times, but finally, when I got to about here, I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna get stressed. Say yes, don't stress, like Stephen says. If I'm off by, X amount of stitches, I'm just gonna add them on. I was never short. I always had, I never had too many stitches. I always had not enough stitches. So I just, at the end, added on a few, and you're never gonna be able to tell. Here's my colors. If you're new to this podcast, I'm using mainly Aspen by Wild Earth Yarns. It is 100% Polworth. All of my yarns are non-superwash and no nylon 4-ply yarns. This one, I keep forgetting to mention, this one, however, is much thicker than this Mondim that I had over-dyed. It's much thicker. And the other one I also used up here in clue 2 is also by Wild Earth Yarns, but it is their 80% Merino, 20% Licoln, I think it's called, that I had dyed. And there's another yarn I might be adding a bit later because you'll see why. So, oh yeah, that's one thing that I did a little bit different is I added this 5th color in here because I wasn't really feeling the green with all the purples. Someone had mentioned in one of my videos that it was maybe potentially a little bit too Halloween-y. So I avoided it and I added this color, and I think it looks really pretty. I'm really happy with that decision. It also makes the whole shawl look a little bit more feminine. As one of my friends had pointed out, that he really liked the colors, and he asked me, is it something you're knitting for a man? And I was like, no. So anyways, I'm happy that I added that pink. And I may have to add another color later on. You'll see why. Stay tuned. Anything else to say about this clue? I really like the shape. I think it's really kind of groovy, and it was really fun to knit despite the mistakes. Oh yes, so when it came to sewing in the ends, as I mentioned maybe 2 weeks ago, these welts were genius for hiding the ends. Every single one of my end is tucked into a welt somewhere, save for maybe the very first stitch that we cast it on. I either knitted over them as I was doing the welt, or when I finished, I took the next color and I also just dragged it into there. And when I was doing this section, at the end, I carried up the pink, but I did not carry up all the colors. I think some people had done that. But what I did was I just took my crochet hook and went through the I-cord, grabbed the end, pulled it up through the I-cord, and then I went back in the other direction to pull it down just to make sure it's nice and secure. And still, I have not picked up a tapestry needle yet. All my ends have been just poked in with a crochet hook, so that's really fun. Okay, so all the stitches are now on hold, and Thursday comes, and I'm very excited. And because I live in Australia, the clue comes out Thursday night. So at around 7-something p.m., I decide to look and check out the clue. And if you've been following me, you'll know that I straight away go right to the end to see what it looks like, to try to plan my colors a bit. I do appreciate the mystery about it, but I do also like to have a little bit of a say in where my colors are gonna go. So I clicked into the video and I fast forwarded to the end, and here is clue 3. It's in 2 sections. The first section okay. Does my face say it all? I was not loving it. And I understand everyone's got their own cup of tea. And some people, I've been following the Ravelry thread. Some people are really loving it. And gosh, some people are so creative. There's so many people that are taking the theme of MusiKAL and really going, like I know Stephen had said, okay, for those of you who don't know, I'll try to put a photo. This is what it's meant to look like. It is kind of these diamonds, like these squares that are opposite of the scallops. Do I have this the right way? No. Opposite here of the scallops, we have a whole bunch of squares. And some people are like, oh, that's like maybe electronic music, and this is, maybe, I forget what someone had said. I'm holding it the wrong way. Kind of like orchestra or something, and this is like 70s music, and that's really cool. And I really like people are interpreting it in different ways. Someone had said in the group that it looked like a famous opera house, maybe, with the different structures and the different looks inside. Anyways, that's really awesome, and I'm so happy that so many people are happy about it. For me, I just didn't like it, and that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and it's, no offense to Stephen, I still think he's a genius. I still am having so much fun. I love all this. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And at the end of the day, this is my shawl. It's his pattern, but it's my shawl that I'm going to be wearing on myself, and I want to love it. And I think that everyone should be in love with what they're making, especially like for me, I don't have tons of money to spend on yarn. So I spent, quite a lot of money on this, and I am having fun in the experience of knitting it, which is a huge part of it. But I also want to wear it, and I want to be happy with the final product. Okay. So I saw the clue. I was a bit sad, I was a bit confused. I didn't know what to do, so I just did not pick up any knitting, and I said, I'll just sleep on it. I had such a hard time going to sleep. I know this is just knitting, but I really was like tossing and turning. What should I do? Should I just knit it anyways for the fun and the experience? Should I? Okay, frogging the whole thing was definitely not gonna happen. I still love everything about this. What should I do instead? Can I think of something else? And anyways, I finally went to sleep, and I think I've been having so many dreams about knitting this shawl. It's hilarious. But I woke up the next morning and I was just, okay, let's have a look at the shawl again. So I had a look at it. Keep holding it wrong. Okay, I was having a look at it, and I was just like, as I said last time, this really reminded me of kind of like crochet, and like crochet granny squares, or something was really giving crochet for me about this. And I thought, why don't I try to do some crochet to add to it? I'm pretty sure a couple of years ago I saw some people had added some crochet to their Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, and I thought, let's see what I can do with crochet. Okay, are you ready? Here's my bag. So I tried to look up scallops because I know I've often done a scalloped edge on the end of my crochet projects, garments and blankets and stuff. So I thought, let me look up how to do a scalloped pattern. And I found one, but I wasn't really too happy about it. But I was like, okay, I kind of get the gist. There's a few different types of scallops you can do in crochet. But finally, I decided I was gonna do them in stripes. I think I did this one first. Do you guys hear that? There's like a baby bird somewhere. That's so funny. Okay, so I thought I was just gonna use 3 of my colors, the green, the blue, and the dark purple. And I thought I'll try to do scallops coming out. I really wanted to echo, where are we now? I really wanted to echo on this side the scallops, and I loved how these kind of are going this way. So I wanted something that was gonna go this way. So I thought, okay, let's do some granny scallops going this way. And in the end, the scallops ended up, so I was doing, if you're familiar with like granny squares, I was doing 6 double crochets to try to make it a bit wider, but that was not working out. It was too wide. So then I went to 5 double crochets in each one. And again, it was too wide. I really needed it to be similar to Stephen's triangle, and this was just too wide, like splaying out too much. So then I tried again with 4 double crochets in each one. I'm pretty sure granny squares are 3 double crochets. So this one is 4 double crochets. And I was like, okay, I held it up to the pattern. I was like, okay, I think this is gonna work. And I was about to start, like I think I'd done a few more rows, and I ended up ripping it back because I went, oh, check this out, okay. I thought these ends meet up, and then I realized that about every three granny double crochet rows, it was gonna line up with one of these welts. So I was like, oh, light bulb. I'm gonna use, where's my color? I'm gonna use my Mondim purple, the color of my welts, every 4th row. And are you ready? Also, I'm so happy I did because these colors are so, so pretty. Okay, I didn't just crochet this on its own as a sample. I decided I wasn't going to attach it as I went, just to make it a bit easier, but also in case I changed my mind. I know I did cut the yarn off at the end of every one, but just in case I changed my mind, I wanted to crochet it separate. But you guys, look how pretty this is. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love it. So maybe I'll insert a video of me holding it beside. I'll try to do it here. But there was 9 welts going up along the side, so I knew I had to go till I got to 9. Okay, let's see. So I hold the purple there. Anyway, it's hard to tell here, but they lined up really nicely. And it's still, you know, it's still a bit wild, but I think I'm happier with it like this than I would have been with the alternative. I feel like we still have energy going this way, energy going this way, and I love that the welts are lined up with the lines on this side, and I'm so happy. So, yay! So yeah, so now the next thing you're gonna have to do is, weave in all those ends. This side doesn't have any ends because it was very easy to do. It's kind of like the weave in Stephen when you crochet. You just, between all your stitches, you wrap the yarn around and it just makes it very clean. I'm debating whether or not to do an I-cord, like pick up stitches and do an I-cord to match the edge, but I don't think I need to. I'll decide that at the end, see how I go. Oh, another thing that I really liked about this is crochet, if you're not a crocheter, is very thick. It's a lot thicker than like stockinette, and it's even thicker than garter. So because this first section was very thick with the welts and with the brioche, I'm happy that it matches the thickness as well, especially since I think unless the direction of the shawl goes somewhere else that's going to shock all of us, I'm pretty sure now that this is the top. I can't picture. I'm pretty sure that this is the top. So both of the thicker parts are going to be here around my chest, which is actually where you want the thickness to be. And what else about this? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to stitch it together, seam it together, which, yeah, I'm not mad about. I don't mind seaming at all. Yeah, so if you wanted to know how I did this, very simply did 4 double crochets, and then on each end, you just do another set, like you do 4 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 4 double crochets in the last, and then I cut the yarn, went back to this side, 4 double crochets on the end, 4 double crochets in between them, and then 4 double crochets on the end, cut the yarn, and then etc, etc. So you're adding a cluster of double crochets on every row. So that's what I did, you know, and I'm happy, I love it, and that's what matters, because like I said before, this is my shawl that I'm going to wear on me, so I want to love it, and I do. Okay, so now the next part, I'm kind of back on track to the second section. I counted, I actually have, I don't know if you can see, but there's 148 crochet, kind of a chain at the top. So I tried to look at the pattern. I was a bit confused about trying to figure out if I have the same number of stitches. I'm gonna go back tonight, yeah, probably tonight, and watch the video again and just see how he does it. So I'm gonna have to use maybe one of those knitting calculators, because I have 148 and I think it's meant to be more stitches for knitting. So I'm gonna enter in the knitting calculator. I have 148, I need X, whatever it is, 200. And then the knitting calculator, which is, you just Google it and a knitting calculator should come up. And then it tells you what to do. Something like knit 3, make 1, knit 3, make 1, knit 4, make 1, knit 4, make 1, knit 3, make 1. And it just figures out how many stitches you need to make in order to get to the stitch count that you need. So that's my next step. And I think actually it's kind of cool too, because I feel like this actually, it kind of looks like the next step, but it'll look different anyways, because it's, you know, the next section is knit, and I think it's gonna have a lot more green. Okay, that's something else I wanted to say about crochet. If you don't know, crochet uses a lot more yarn than knitting. So that's gonna be potentially an issue for me. So that's okay. I still have pretty much 3 whole. I went into my second, these are only 50 grams, so I went into the second one of the blue. I still have this left of the purple, and I have all this of the green, because I didn't use much of the green in the first section, or I didn't use green at all in clue 2. So I'm gonna potentially run out of yarn. For sure blue is gonna be a bit of an issue. So I thought I'm gonna hold on to the blue for the second part of clue 3, and I'm gonna add this color, which I showed when I was trying to pick my colors a little while ago, and I'm gonna use, I think it's 4 colors. So I'm going to go with these for the second part of clue 3, and the green will be the color that's more prominent, that kind of comes through the weaving. I forget what he calls it, maybe like a weaving section. So yeah, so my next steps, I'm going to sew this on, I'm gonna watch the video, I'm gonna figure out the stitch count, and then I'm gonna continue on as if it's all good, as if I didn't even do anything different, because hopefully the next section is gonna work with that, and then I'm just gonna be excited to find out what clue 4 is, and hopefully I'm gonna have enough yarn. And yes, okay. Back to the finished clue 2. When I had finished this, I was thinking that, gosh, there's really not really a lot of green in here, and, you know, or the pink, and I thought, is there a potential for me to add a little bit at the end if I feel like a color, if I add another color, like for example, I'm gonna add this color, is there a way that I can incorporate that into what I've already done? And I thought, bobble. So I just knitted a little bobble on its own, and I think, I don't know if this already exists, but I thought a little afterthought bobble. So you just, you know, do a slip knot, and then you just knit a little bobble into your slip knot, and then it's got 2 ends, which you can slip through your fabric and then tie underneath your fabric and then weave in the ends. So I thought a good spot for these would be this in the center right here, especially because this scallop number 5 has a giant hole. So I thought I could put it in there and I could use these little ends to sew it together, and that looks really cute. And you can even add them into all of your little scallops. But I thought, because I have this one beside it with the green, maybe I don't need the green, but if I'm incorporating some new colors, maybe I could use that, or maybe I could have all the colors with little bubbles popping at the front. It's just so much fun. What I love about this, it just really, like, Steven's creativity is contagious, and yeah, I think he's happy when people do things differently and add their own little touches. I don't think he's offended at all. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but yeah, I think that encouraging people to be creative is a wonderful thing, and that he should feel happy that he brings that out in people. Okay, do I have anything else to talk about this? Let me just consult my notes. Oh yes, did anyone notice? Last week my glasses are broken and I was able to just tape on the arm with something, but now it broke even more. So now there's just a little nub, and I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna wear my hair down. No one will notice, even though I just draw attention to it. I've ordered new glasses. Hopefully they're gonna arrive next week. That is all that I had to say about that. Let me know in the comments what you think of Clue 3 if you're participating. Are you gonna knit it as is? Which I've been looking at some people's versions and they do look really nice. And you know, do what you want, do what you feel like, do what you love. Are you doing something different? Are you turning them into stripes? I think some people are doing. Have you given up? I hope not. Keep going. There's always an alternative. Please feel free to do what I did, and that would make me really happy too if someone were to try to do that as well if they weren't happy. And thank you so much for watching. Please give me a like if you liked the video and consider subscribing. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers. My video last week did very well, so thank you so much everyone who watched. And do consider subscribing if you want to see what happens with Clue 4 next week. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be finished. I might just chat about Clue 4, and then the next week will be the finished object. So that's super exciting. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.